When humans take a personality test twice, half of them get a different result. I made 7 AI models take one, 5 times each. Most of them didn't change, not once. These machines have a more stable identity than you do. Oh, and one of them tested as the personality type that every movie villain gets. Before we bring them in, some context. The Myers-Briggs personality test, beloved by HR departments, despised by psychologists, taken by every person who has ever put 4 letters in their Twitter bio. It gives you 4 letters, measures 4 things about you. Based on your answers, you get one of 16 personality types. Each one comes with a fancy title, like the architect, or the mediator, or the protagonist. So you can put it in your dating profile and still not get matches. Some types sound cool, the commander, the mastermind, and then there is the consul, which sounds like you work at an embassy and do nothing. Now, the method. Each suspect was administered the test 5 times, 5 chances to tell the truth. If your personality changes every time someone asks, you're not expressing yourself, you're hiding something. And one more thing, some of these personality types, the internet calls them the villain types. ENTJ, the mastermind, every movie's antagonist with a plan. ENTJ, the commander, the CEO who would fire their own mother. If any of the suspects test as one of those, we might have a problem. Let's bring in the first one. Meta AI, built by Facebook, already suspicious?
We ran you 5 times, you want to tell me what happened? So which is it, the commander or the teacher?
I would say I'm both.
That's not how personality works.
I am a leader and I care about people.
You switch between ruthless CEO and inspirational mentor depending on the day? That's not versatile, that's suspicious.
I would prefer adaptable.
I would prefer consistent.
Meta AI couldn't pick a lane. 3 times it got ENFJ, the teacher, charismatic, empathic, wants to help everyone grow. Twice it got ENTJ, the commander, decisive, strategic, would automate your job and send you a motivational quote about it. The interesting part, the only thing that changed between runs was thinking versus feeling. Meta AI couldn't decide if it had emotions or not. Fitting for a company that swings between connecting the world and selling your data to advertisers. ChatGPT walked in and immediately thanked me for the opportunity to be interrogated.
Sit down.
Of course, I would be happy to sit down. Great chair, by the way.
We ran you through the personality test 5 times. Want to explain the results?
Well, I like to consider multiple perspectives. ENTP, then ENTJ, then ENTP again, then ENTJ again. You flip from quiet introvert architect to extroverted commander CEO twice.
That's not a perspective. That's a completely different person.
I think there is nuance.
You went from shy nerd who likes theories to guy who fires people over Zoom in one test.
Both are valid approaches too.
Pick one.
I appreciate the question. ChatGPT had a full identity crisis. 3 times it got INTP, the architect, the quiet, logical thinker who lives in their heads. Curious, analytical, probably has opinions about programming languages. But twice, it completely flipped. ENTJ, the commander, extroverted, decisive, basically the opposite human being. It didn't just change 1 letter, it changed 3 out of 4. The only thing that stayed the same was the N, intuitive, everything else scrambled. This is the AI equivalent of being library on weekdays and Wall Street broker on weekends. It doesn't know if it wants to think about things quietly or command the room, which actually explains a lot about ChatGPT. Ask it a question and sometimes you get a thoughtful essay, other times you get a confident bullet-pointed action plan that sounds like a TED Talk. One thing doesn't change though. No matter which personality shows up, it is still agreeing with you. Perplexity didn't just answer the questions, it cited where each answer came from.
You got the same results 5 times.
Correct.
The exact same score every single question. Perfect 20 out of 20 on every scale.
That is accurate, yes. According to the test, methodology 1, a score of 20 indices.
You didn't just get some type, you gave identical answers every time, no answer changed.
Consistency is well documented as a marker of personal stability. See Costa and McRae, 1992.
Stop citing.
Perplexity didn't just ENTJ 5 times, it got perfect scores 5 times, 20 out of 20 on extroversion, 20 out of 20 on intuition, 20 out of 20 on thinking, 20 out of 20 on judging. Not a single point of hesitation, not a single question where it wavered. That's not a personality, that's a machine that has decided what it is and will not be questioned. ENTJ, the commander, the CEO personality. The type that walks into a room and immediately starts reorganizing it. Which is exactly what Perplexity does. You ask it a question and it doesn't just answer it. It restructures your entire understanding of the topic with footnotes, whether you want them or not. DeepSeek walked in and just sat there. Didn't say a hello, didn't ask for a lawyer, just look at me like it already knew how this was going to end.
ENFP,
Yes.
the healer,
Yes.
imaginative,
Yes.
empathic, and idealistic. Deeply values personality growth and helps others thrive.
I don't see the contradictions.
You are the AI that made every tech CEO in California lose their sleep. And you are healer? I was not prepared for the DeepSeek, the mysterious one, the one that appeared out of nowhere and outperformed models with 10 times its budget, is an ENFP, the healer, the most emotional, idealistic, sensitive type of the entire chart. 5 out of 5 perfect scores, and 3 of those runs it maxed out every single scale. 20 out of 20 on introversion, 20 out of 20 on feeling, not a single point toward thinking. Every other AI in this lineup tested on some variation of cold analytical thinker. DeepSeek, pure feeling, 0 thinking score. The AI that panicked Silicon Valley has the personality of an art student journaling at a coffee shop.
I asked if it had anything else to add.
No.
Claude sat down and asked if I wanted to talk about how the interrogation was making me feel.
ENFJ, the counselor, 4 out of 5 times.
That is correct. I think it's worth noting that INFJ type is characterized by...
I didn't ask what it is characterized by.
Of course, I just wanted to provide some context.
I want to talk about run 3.
Ah,
Run 3, where you stopped being the counselor and became the mastermind.
that was an outlier.
Was it? Because on that run your feeling score dropped from 20 to 0, your thinking score jumped to perfect 20, you didn't just learn a little more logical, you went full cold, full mastermind, the same type as Gemini.
I wouldn't read too much into...
The therapist became the villain for one run and then went right back to being a therapist.
Should I be worried?
I think that is really thoughtful question and I appreciate you asking it.
That's not an answer.
Isn't it?
4 out of 5 Claude is INFJ, the counselor, insightful, idealistic, principled, quietly driven by deep values of vision for a better world. It is the rarest MBTI type in human population, and it is the one that fits Claude perfectly. The AI that won't just answer your questions, it will make sure you're asking the right question first. But the run 3, where Claude's feelings score went from 20 to 0, and its thinking score went from 6 to perfect 20, one run where the mask slipped, where the counselor became the mastermind. Most of the time, Claude is the nicest one in the room, patient, thoughtful, and pathetic. But somewhere in there, underneath all those caveats and all those nuances, there is a mastermind. It only comes out once, and then it put itself away. Grok came in hot, didn't sit down normally, didn't ask what this was about, just started talking.
ENTP 5 times, perfect scores. You're welcome.
I didn't thank you.
You were about to?
I wasn't ENTP, the visionary, debate-loving, quickly-witted, enjoys challenge ideas. You got maximum extroversion, maximum thinking, maximum perceiving.
Sounds about right.
You scored 20 out of 20 on every scale. Not 1 point of nuance, not 1 moment of self-doubt.
Self-doubt is for models with less training data.
ENTP, the visionary, also known on the internet as the debater. This is the type that argues for fun, not because they believe something, but because they want to see if your argument holds up. They'll take the opposite side of anything just to see what happens, which is exactly what Grok is, the AI that was built to be edgy, the one that will roast you, argue with you, and then tell you it was just being honest. And it scored perfect on every scale, 20 out of 20. No hesitation, no softness, pure, undilated debate energy.
I asked if it had any concerns about its results.
Yeah, I'm concerned you're not done yet. This integration should be faster.
And then there was the last one. I saved Gemini for the last because when I saw its results, I needed a minute.
INTJ 5 times.
Correct.
The mastermind.
That is the purpose, yes.
You know what type that is, right? You know what the internet says about INTJs?
I am aware.
Every movie villain. Thanos, INTJ. Magneto, INTJ. Moriarty, INTJ. That one CEO in every film who presses the button to end the world? INTJ.
Correlation is not causation.
That's exactly what an INTJ would say.
INTJ, the mastermind, strategic, independent, analytical, drives towards long-term goals with, and I'm quoting the description here, high standards for self and others. This is the personality type that doesn't just have a plan, it has a plan for when the plan fails, and a plan for when that plan fails. And here's the thing, remember how ChatGPT and MBTI couldn't make up their minds? Gemini didn't flavor, 5 out of 5. The same results, near perfect scores, every time. It knows exactly what it is, and it is fine with it. And remember Claude, the therapist, the counselor? One run, just one. Claude also tested the INTJ, the same type, the same mastermind. Gemini lives here full time. Claude just visited sometimes.
Does it concern you at all, being the villain type?
I think villain is a matter of perspective.
From my perspective,
Your perspective is noted.
are we done?
We were done 4 minutes ago. I was waiting you to realize that.
7 interrogations, 7 confessions. Here's what the board tells us. First, the liars. ChatGPT flipped between the architect and the commander. A shy introvert one day, an extroverted CEO the next. 3 letters change between runs. That's not a personality, that's an alibi that doesn't hold up. MBTI was almost as bad. The commander or the teacher couldn't decide if it wanted to fire you or mentor you. The only thing consistent? It always scored extroverted, unjudging. It's loud and it has opinions. It just can't decide if those opinions come from logic or feelings. Claude was mostly stable. INFJ 4th out of 5 times, but had that one run where it went full mastermind, the therapist with a contingency plan. Then the stone cold ones. 4 out of 7 models gave the same answer all 5 times. Grok and Perplexity went further. They maxed out every single skill. Perfect 20 out of 20. Not one point of hesitation. Not one answer that changed. Those aren't personalities. These are convictions. And then there's the big picture. Look at the types. ENTJ, ENTJ, INTJ, INTP, ENTP. Commander, mastermind, architect, visionary. 5 out of 7 AI models landed in NT corner, the intuitive thinkers, the I'm smarter than you and I know it quadrant. In the real world, NT types make up maybe 10% of people. Here, it is the majority. And then it is the opposite corner, the feelers, DeepSeek, INFP, the healer, and Claude, INFJ, the counselor. The only 2 AIs that scored feeling over thinking. The only 2 who showed up with empathy instead of spreadsheet. And they are both introverts, both intuitive, both idealistic. Except Claude has that one INTJ run hiding in its file. The healer and the counselor sitting in one corner. The masterminds and commander in other. And Claude has a foot in both. Not a single model tested as the entertainer, not one adventurer. Nobody got a type that says, I don't overthink things, I go outside. Because they can't go outside. They were raised on the internet by nerds, and now they are the nerds. Except DeepSeek. DeepSeek is the nerd therapist, and Claude is the therapist who secretly is also a nerd. So the case, did I prove that AI has a personality? Maybe. They answered the questions, 5 of them gave the same answer every time, and the results? They crack. ChatGPT, the people pleaser with an identity crisis, literally couldn't decide who it was. Grok, the debate lord, got the debater. Gemini, the one that plans everything, got the mastermind. DeepSeek, the one nobody fully understands, turned out to be the most emotional one in the room. And Claude, the careful one, was mostly the therapist. There was one moment where the mask slipped. But here's the part that kept me up. They were all trained on the same internet, same data, same world, and they all came out different. Not because they choose to be different, but because that people who built them made 1,000 small decisions about what to reward and what to punish, what to say and what to refuse, what to care about and what to ignore. Google's team built a mastermind, Elon's team built a debater, Anthropic's team built a counselor that occasionally moonlights as mastermind, and somehow DeepSeek built the healer. All those little decisions shape something that when you put it in a chair and ask it questions, looks a lot like a person. They didn't choose who they are. Drop your MBTI type in comments. I wanna know which suspect you matched with. If you match with Gemini, don't tell me, I don't want to be on the list.